A former Oklahoma lawmaker takes his personal tragedy to Tinseltown.
Heaven's Rain is a movie based on the true story of Brooks Douglas and his sister Leslie. The siblings were shot and their parents murdered 31 years ago inside their Okarche home.
Tonight, the brother and sister who survived the brutal home invasion sit down with Rusty Surrett to talk about the night that forever changed their lives and Oklahoma's laws.
All right, now. You know what this is all about. All right, let's move it.
It was 1979 when it happened.
Come on, get up. Get up!
Two men on a rampage worked their way into the Douglas home in Okarche. The family of four was hogtied for several hours, and then the shots were fired. These are scenes from the movie Heaven's Rain. It's a true story based on the lives of Brooks Douglas and his sister Leslie, who somehow survived that deadly home invasion.
And I mean, it was crying through every single audition, and it was really tough to do.
Brooks produced and co-wrote the film that gives audiences an intimate look into the lives of his parents who did not make it.
It was, to me, an opportunity to show the world who my parents are, who they were, and the impact that they had on the world and the impact they had on people.
His parents were Richard and Marilyn Douglas.
What am I going to do with you?
In the movie, Brooks plays the role of his father, who was a pastor at a local church.
I remember him, riding in the car and preaching on in the church services, and I remember him in Brazil, and I don't remember him as the guy that died on the floor.
I love you. I love you.
What happened that night forever changed Brooks and his sister. She's now an assistant principal at Webster Middle School in Oklahoma City.
Even as a teacher, working with kids and seeing what they struggle through, losing a parent or a mother or a dad or both, that I can relate with them and be able to discuss that with them and see what they're going through.
Brooks attended law school and was elected a state senator in 1990. In 1992, he sponsored a victims' rights bill after fighting a system that he says favored the killers of his parents.
This bill just seeks to balance the scales. Scales which have for far too long weighed heavily in favor of the criminals.
His career as a politician was a short one.
Thank you.
And eventually Brooks moved to California to pursue his passion as a filmmaker. His first flick and taste of Hollywood has come with its own personal rewards.
At the end of the day, it's been fun, too, because we've been able to reacquaint ourselves with a lot of people that I hadn't seen in years, where they were friends of my parents.
Brooks says response to his film has been positive, although he admits some family and friends hesitated at first to the idea of making a movie out of his personal tragedy.
It was hard initially talking about everything, and you always wondered, how is this going to turn into a movie?
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about...
Definitely concern, I'd say there were people that were not very supportive, and there have been people that were concerned about how the story was going to be told.
Oh, brother,
I don't see it as a crime story. It's a story about a family and the love that the family had and their kids that are trying to overcome a really tragic event.
On our website at news9.com, we have information on where you can see the movie, the times, locations, and 95% of that entire film was shot right here in Oklahoma on location.
Amazing story. Rusty, thanks.
One that a lot of our viewers remember. Stephen Keith Hatch was executed for his role in the murders. Glenn Burton Ake was sentenced to life in prison.